Welcome to session 2 of our exploration of the statement that the mind can be a dangerous place or a very, very great gift. What I found on my journey and what I find with the people that I'm working with is if you know how to do it and you're sincere and persistent about it, you have the ability to raise the energies of your inner state to where they become absolutely beautiful. I'm not talking about once in a while you have a nice experience or how to have a nicer vacation and how to win friends and influence people. I'm talking about that your inner state starts to feed you instead of bother you. It's not just that your mind says nice things. The most beautiful mind is the quiet mind. And what you'll find is that if you work with raising your mind, raising the energies inside, that it will go through a stage of it'll stop complaining. You don't have to make it stop complaining. It stops complaining. Well, why would it stop complaining? Because there's nothing to complain about. Because it likes what's going on inside. It's feeling an uplifting joy. It feeds you from inside. That is something that as your mind goes through the transformation, as your inner state goes through the transformation of raising to higher and higher centers, you will find that it becomes beautiful inside. When it is beautiful inside, naturally, you don't feel needs. You literally don't feel, I need this, I need that. And because you don't need all this stuff, you're not complaining that you don't have it. And you're not jealous because somebody else does. You're not resentful because you didn't get what you want. It just falls away naturally as your inner state elevates and raises. But people don't know how to do this. First of all, they don't even know it's possible. They think that the only way to feel love is to find somebody. The only way to feel secure is to have lots of money in the bank. The only way to feel good about yourself is to have people feel good about you. It's they have to do it through the eyes of somebody else. When the truth of the matter is, the beautiful mind, the beautiful inner state, is when it is the energies are free enough inside to rise up and feed you naturally. So the question becomes, how does one go about doing that? And also, is everybody capable of that? A lot of times people sit there and say to me, oh yeah, well, you're higher or you're this or you're that. That's ridiculous. My experience from going through the growth I've gone through, and I've only been doing this for 40 years, every second of my life, all right, is everybody inside is beautiful. Everybody. I did 30 years of prison work, maximum security in there for you don't want to hear about. Beautiful, beautiful people. They write me to this day. I have relations or contact with a lot of them. The problem is the mind causes us so much disturbance. It creates so much anxiety. It creates so much worry and so on that we can't enjoy our lives. And so we end up doing things to try and get environments better outside to create a nicer environment inside, and it causes all kinds of trouble, lots of trouble. Look at the world around you. The entire problem of the world around you is caused because people are not okay inside. If people were fed inside, feeling whole inside, you would not have one fraction of the problems outside. You'd have much more harmony, much more togetherness. So this rising up of the energy, which happens by letting go of the neurotic mind, by letting go of the persistently talking and troublesome voice inside your head. There are ways to do that. It's a lot easier than what people think it is. A lot of people sit there and say, well, I can't do that. Yes, you can, but you have to learn to do it. So what I want to point out at this session, this focus of this is, it can be beautiful inside. It is not a question of, you have to suffer in order to enjoy beauty. That's not true. You're capable of wake up in the morning. Let's see what it's like for a being who's achieved a good state. You wake up in the morning and you feel love. And I mean, you feel love pouring through your being, wave upon wave. You can't even get out of bed. It's like you've just had the most beautiful love experience you've ever had in your life, and it's just welling through you, and it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. As long as you want to lay there, you lay there. Anytime you want to feel love, just wave your hand in front of your heart, and all this love comes pouring up inside. Well, that's the start of your morning, all right? You get out of bed. Why? Because you are so excited about what's going to happen today. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And you brush your teeth and you giggle because the electric toothbrush makes a funny sound and it tickles you. And you go and you make your toast and it gets burnt and it smells and that's funny, right? If your inner state is well and healthy and you're feeling effulgent, self-effulgent, is flowing inside of you, all of life becomes beautiful. But what if there's a problem outside? You have fun trying to fix it. You have fun working with it. I think of Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa could have gone anywhere. She went down with the lepers, and she looked forward to it, and she couldn't wait. Don't feel sorry for her. That was the love of her life. All right? How can that be? Because she was filled with love inside, and this was an opportunity to share that love. That's how beautiful life can be. But you have to be willing to do the work that raises the mind from a dangerous place to a beautiful place. And the next thing you're going to find, when we talk about specifically mind, is that you're way smarter than you think you are. I mean, way smarter. If I sit there and give you a swimming test, but tie your hands behind your back and tie your feet, anchors on your feet, how well are you going to do? That's not a fair test. If you go in to take your IQ test and you got your mind driving you crazy about what happened at home and this and that and problems that you have, you're using the majority of your analytical power of your mind to try to figure out how to be okay. You're even taking the test to hope you'll do well so you can be okay, to get out of the problem environment that you have. So I don't think it's fair. That's why I don't like the standardized tests, not because they're not even to all the races or all the different type of people, but you are taking them while you are handicapped. I'm telling you, as you shift out of that mode of what we call the personal mind, the complaining mind, all right? The Buddhists call it the discriminating mind, right? That's judging everything. As you shift out of that and you free the power of your mind to create, to invent, to be beautiful. That's what it can do. It just be beautiful. Like Einstein's mind. He spent his mind in outer space doing thought experiments. You don't have to be as brilliant as him to enjoy the freedom that your mind gives you, that you can explore anything you want. But you can't do that while your mind is holding you down to these personal problems. If your mind is not seeing things as a problem, it is not a problem. What you call a problem, somebody else calls grace. So, I mean, literally, what you call a miracle, are you ready? Here's what a miracle is. I need something, or I don't want something really, really badly. And the probability of it happening is slim to nil, but it happens. Oh my God, that's a miracle. The probability was 0.0001% and it happened, right? Okay, watch this. What happens if you really don't want something to happen and the probability is equally 0.0001% that it happened and it happens? Is that a miracle? It's the same probability. You say, no, that's the work of the devil. So you're creating, whether it's a miracle or something not good. So if your mind changes, everything changes. So you can work with your mind to become beautiful. And it's even deeper than just your natural thoughts becoming positive and becoming supportive. When the mind starts to get quiet, there's another layer. We call it the intuitive mind, the inspirational mind. I can't describe it to you. You have to experience it yourself, where all of a sudden you see a problem. And instead of having to think about it, the solution's there. It just, bam, it just drops into your mind, and then the thoughts start to formulate. And my experience is it's always the highest that you could offer. Somebody else might be able to offer more, but it is a beautiful thing that has dropped into your mind. I programmed computers. I ran a big computer company. The design teams that we did, I was able to just have these momentary, instantaneous inspirations drop in. It's not just me. When Einstein put on the blackboard E equals mc squared with all that math, and they called the press in, he made the statement, I did not reach this conclusion through the processes of my logical mind. All right? There's inspiration. The mind is phenomenal. I can't even talk about it. It's just like connected to something deeper than anything you have any comprehension of. And the more open you are, getting away from the dangerous mind, the problematic mind, the judgmental mind, the personal mind, the more that quiets down. Not only then can you have positive thoughts, this is higher than positive thoughts. This drops in, the Gita says, when thoughts have passed from thinking. That's exactly what inspiration is. That your knowledge and your wisdom don't require analytical step-by-step thoughts. It just drops in. If you think your mind is not creative, for example, a lot of people tell me, I don't have a creative mind. Do you dream when you go to sleep? color, 3D, you walk the streets, your mind is creating that. All right, you're an extremely creative mind. Minds are tremendously powerful. Everyone's. The only problem is the mind is anchored to what we call the dangerous mind or the personal mind, the one that's just thinking about what I need and what I want and why can't I have it and all my problems. You use your mind to solve your personal problems as opposed to letting the mind sprout wings and spread and feed you. It can feed you. So the mind is a great gift. It's a very, very great gift. Look what people's minds have done. We flew to the moon. We split the atom. All right? Those are human minds that did that. And you have a human mind. So I respect you very deeply, very, very deeply. The problem is we don't understand. We are limiting ourselves to the box of our little personal problems. So it's like an ingrown toenail. You have an ingrown mind. It's always looking at you. It's always looking at what you want, what problems you're having, how you think about things, and therefore it can't expand out and feed you as it is meant to do. So that is what's meant by the mind can be a very great gift. And I'm talking about everybody's mind. Of course, some people's mind are smarter than others. It's a minuscule difference. Some people are taller than others. You're a human being. You have a great mind. The problem is it is limited to your personal problems. You can learn to free it from that. And that is what we're going to do in the next session, is to at least give an introduction as to what does it mean to work on that. I don't have the time for it. I'm busy. I'm a soccer mom. I got a job. It doesn't take any time. So a saint once said to me, there's time within the time. What does that mean? The time on the clock out here, you're doing things. In here, you're doing something else anyways. You're worrying. You're angsting. You're conniving as to what you're going to do next and what you did wrong. You already have another set of time you're wasting inside while you're doing the stuff outside, aren't you? That's the time I want. I don't need the time outside. Married, not married, working, not working, rich, poor, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're outside, the Buddhists say, bloom where you are, all right? Whatever the outside situation is, that is not stopping you from doing this transformation of shifting your mind from a problem to a solution. It is the inner work that you're doing that can be done, it is done simultaneously. You're just not paying attention. There's nobody driving the car. All right? That's what we're going to talk about in the next session, how to do this. But before we leave session 2, you'll notice that below the video, there's an input box. I'd like you to take a moment to reflect on whether you've ever had that experience of inspiration where you weren't particularly thinking about something and trying to use the willful analytical power of your mind, and all of a sudden, something dropped in, something very powerful, very strong, and then you digested it with your mind. Have you ever had an experience like that? Please write down and share that with others. It would be very helpful. Thank you.